My guidance counselor told me and my parents, don't think about college for your son. I compared myself to others in my class and always came up short. Mike Willis on my track team, who went on to West Point, was much faster than me. The one role model I had among the few African Americans in our class, the one who stood out as smart, articulate, outspoken, who I sat next to in 10th grade English, was Glenn Floyd. Glenn Floyd was, in my eyes then, what Barack Obama is now. But Glenn Floyd was killed in a car accident on Route 9D on November 22nd, 1973. From that point on, I had no role model at RCK. No one at RCK thought I'd ever go anywhere. My lackadaisical ways continued when I got to Morehouse College. I had a 1.8 GPA at Morehouse College. I am not exaggerating. I was tuned out and didn't care. So how did I get where I am? For one thing, my parents never gave up on me. They refused to accept that I was not smart. They never discouraged any ambition I had, no matter how crazy. When I told them I wanted to be a left fielder for the New York Mets, they encouraged it. Mom and Dad, please stand and be recognized. Parents, I say this to you as a child and as the parent of college-age kids. Parents, eventually your children hear you. It could be a delayed reaction, but eventually they do hear you. Eventually they embrace your values. They even start to act like you and sound like you. I assure you, hang in there. Have faith. I can remember the day of my awakening, sophomore year in college, when I realized, inspired by a lot of speeches and sermons I heard at Morehouse, that there was nothing left for me to do but study. I had a 1.8 GPA freshman year. Sophomore year, first semester, I had a 3.0. It helped that Dad promised me a car if I got a 3.0. Spring semester, sophomore year, 3.5. Junior year, fall semester, 4.0. Junior year, spring semester, 4.0. Senior year, fall semester, 4.0. Senior year, spring semester, 4.0. I discovered that I'm talking to the bottom half of this class. I discovered that I was actually smart. A lot of other people discovered I was actually smart too. I entered college a boy and left as a man. Lesson 1 to the graduates sitting in front of me. You are smarter than you think and stronger than you know. You have it within you to do far more than you think as you sit there right now. Lesson 2, honor your parents. They raised you. Try calling home every Sunday. Do better than simply a text. How are, letter R, you, letter U doing? Call home. Write a letter. Write an email with paragraphs, sentences, periods. Tell them how you're doing. I started when I was in college, calling my parents every Sunday, and I still do that 40 years later. Lesson 3, learn from your mistakes. There are actually very few mistakes I've made in my life that I would take back. Each wrong decision is a learning experience, a growth experience. Learn from your mistakes, whether it's a bad relationship, a bad choice of a roommate, a bad restaurant, a bad hiring decision, a bad job situation. A bad haircut or bad shoes. Learn from your mistakes. A person who does not learn from their mistakes is a fool and bound to repeat them, swollen feet and all. Lesson 4, do not be afraid to fail. 70% of life, as I like to tell graduates, is trying. 70% is trying. Most people who become president of the United States lost an election before doing so. I like to tell school kids, you'll never get the right answer if you're not willing to raise your hand. Do these things, and in the course of your life, you will see and do more than you can comprehend sitting here right now. 41 years ago, when I sat where you are, graduating from Royce Ketchum High School, there was no internet, no GPS, no digital cameras, no BlackBerry, no cell phone, no iPhone, no iPod, no iPads, no Netflix, no Snapchat, no selfies, no podcasts, no Facebook, no FaceTime, no Skyping, no WhatsApp, and no Department of Homeland Security. I listened then to music on vinyl records. I am 58 years old. I know I'm really old. It was inconceivable to me when I sat where you sit now that in my lifetime we would have a black president, or that I would be a member of his cabinet. The last thing I'll say to you is this: happiness in life is not derived by the size of your house or the size of your income. Many people learn this the hard way. Happiness comes from the personal, internal satisfaction you derive from believing that you are the best at what you do, whatever it is you do, and by helping others, faith, and family in your life. As my Morehouse brother Martin Luther King used to say, and when you discover what will be in your life and what you will do, set out to do it as if God